why can't I record with Wardlow? Let me be a guest host.
Was that the intro?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Wrestling Classic. Justin back with Danial of the Dropkick Podcast for the TWC Show, live on Ruckus Avenue Radio every Monday at 2 p.m. Make sure you guys check out ruckusavenueradio.com or check it out on the free Dash Radio app. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we are there. What's up? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. Wrestling's been kind of meh, but we'll talk about what's been going on. There's been some little cool things going on. There was a Christian promo. My girl Carmella's the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship. You know, those things. But what's going on with you, Daniel? How's life? All your WrestleMania interviews have been released. They have been completed.
No, all 16 of them. All 16 of them. That's crazy.
There was 16 of them?
I recorded all 16 in like 2.5 days. So with TJ, Brad, Amber Nova, Mariah May, RVD, DDP. Bro, there's so many. I can't even remember all of them. I even did a skit with Joe
Angle, JTG, Brian Pillman Jr., Brad Rosser. Damn, there's 16 of them. Why did I think there's only like I wasn't far off. I thought there was like 11, 12, but 16,
no, 16 of them, dude. That's crazy to think about because it's like sometimes you think that you're not doing so much, but when you go look back in your archives, you're like, man, I did a lot. And like, you know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I feel like, dude, I did it. I did it up that weekend. And it's finally cool.
You definitely rocked WrestleMania weekend for sure.
No, yeah, and I'm finally kind of relieved because it's like I have content that's ready to drop, and I recorded it when I got back home. And I can't wait to drop that. And so if you haven't, go check out the Dropkick Podcast.
Is there any speak of what that content is? What is that content?
Yeah, so I recorded a short interview with Jimmy Jacobs, just talking about, you know, life and everything and how I guess his mind really works. And also, you know, if you're into all, you know, things like that sort of nature, then check that out.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Is because I watched it, right? Like, I watched it through the StreamYard, right?
Yeah.
I think I watched it. I think because I already watched it, in my mind, I felt like you already released it.
No, I haven't dropped that. I recorded that in like a month ago.
Yeah, no, but I remember watching it. That's why in my head I'm like, oh, Jimmy Jacob. I feel like I know you did that, but then I forgot because I felt like it already happened. Does that make sense?
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about how far everything's come, but yeah.
It's nuts. It's almost July. That being said, guys, I last month I only got Thunder Rosa on the TWC Casual Conversations, the classic. I almost didn't get nobody for June, but Will Sasso pulled through. Comedian, actor, podcaster Will Sasso. He's been a wrestling fan from as far back as he can remember. He's been on WCW, did that whole feud with Bret Hart through Mad TV and WCW back in 1998. He appeared in 2002 and did a segment with Chris Jericho and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Tells that story. Appeared again in 2009 during the guest host era and did a whole segment while they were promoting the Three Stooges movie with Kane. We talked about that, plus so much more. So that's dropping this Saturday. And tomorrow, if everything goes as planned, I got another interview coming for July. I guess the first week of July with another AEW superstars. And things are back on track. No, I like to get it done first and then say it.
Okay.
God knows something happens. It gets rescheduled. And then like, you know, fucking... Because I'm probably just going to drop this today. Like the TWC show. I'm just not like putting it out there. Just because not a lot to talk about, let's talk about something that did happen this week that's pretty big. 8 years in the making. I am finally unblocked.
What happened 8 years in the making? I'm sorry.
Steve, I'm finally... So when the first year I started my page, I was blocked by Lana. There's two people that blocked me really early on in either 2014 or 15, and it was Eva Marie and Lana. Last year, I somehow managed to get Eva Marie to unblock me, talk to her husband, talk to Eva. We got good terms with like friends and stuff. And then me and Eva became like besties. And now
Lana, it's the wrestling classic.
And now it's Lana. We got CJ Perry to unblock me. Shout out Jen Decker. Shout out Jennifer Decker. They were roommates in college, and I remember one day I saw them partying together, and I was out drinking myself, and I messaged Jen. I was like, "Yo, get her to unblock me," because I had liquid courage, and I was just like to Jen, like, and I'm close enough to Jen to send her a text like that, where it's not like, because I was like, why people probably like, why didn't you ever like ask Natty or like someone else? I'm like, it just seems like something weird to ask. Like, hey man, can you get blah 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 but unblock me? But like, I'm close enough as a friend to Jen Decker, who was like drunk and been like, yo, get her to unblock me, and Jen was like, yeah, I'll get her to unblock you one day. Like, what did you do or whatever, right? Never happened. And but then I guess recently they were having a conversation about their brand army accounts and their exclusive sites, and Jen brought up to her like, yo, like Justin could like really help you promote that and all that stuff. And CJ was like, who's Justin? And then here we are. You got unblocked. But she is curious why she blocked me, because she told me per DM when I said, hey, thank you, because she followed my Wrestling Classic page and my personal page. But like now, who would have thought? And she was like, her response to why she blocked me was, we had a very long conversation last night till like 3 a.m. But yeah, very long. Clearly a very long conversation. I have to scroll way up here. I was like, thank you. I don't know what happened. I probably was on my period and was blocking the world and suplexing people out of rage. I didn't tell her, and I didn't tell her why. I was like, oh no, I'm sorry for whatever I did. It's probably pretty stupid. But then she saw the post where I said, hey, CJ, unblock me. And if you know what I did, don't say it. And then she was like, wait, I want to know. So we're doing a thing potentially. If you don't already know, if you don't know why I was blocked by CJ, it was my fault. I did something really dumb back in 2014-15. And I'm going to get CJ on the Casual Conversation Show we already talked about. I'm going to interview her. I don't know if I want to do it soon or I want to wait till I go back to California and actually get her in the Dash Radio studio. But she's down to do it. But I said we should probably do something exclusive for her Brand Army site where I share the story of why she blocked me. And the fun thing about it is she's going to be hearing it for the first time too. So she has no idea.
I don't even know if that's PG.
She doesn't even know why she blocked me. We had a whole conversation. I told her about how I started my page and the whole ex-girlfriend made me deactivate my Instagram page. So I made a wrestling page. She's like, oh my God. She's like, you need to come on my show on the Brand Army account. Like, I love spilling the tea about exes and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm down for whatever. So we're like best friends now, me and Lana. After 8 years of being blocked by her.
That's crazy. That's dope. Congratulations.
You
definitely got to get her back. You definitely got to go to LA for this.
There's only one person left though. So we got Eva Marie to unblock me. We got Lana. The last one I've met the guy. I've hung out with the guy. I've talked to the guy. I've shot the shit with the guy. Nah, I just didn't have the courage to be like, hey man, can you unblock me? And that's Kevin Nash.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
I'm still blocked by Kevin Nash.
Yeah, that might be a tough one.
You remember what happened with that one, right?
Yeah, I remember.
So
I remember exactly what happened.
Kevin Nash, being Kevin Nash, commented on Tori Wilson's picture, just being like normal. Now that I do this all the time now, so now I look at it, I'm like, that's not flirting. Like I go on girls' pictures and drop flames, so you look gorgeous and shit and all that stuff all the time. Especially if they're friends of mine, like I pump them up, hype man, you know. He did that to Tori, and I screenshot it and I put on my page. I'm looking at Kevin Nash still trying to mac on Tori Wilson. You got to remember, Kevin Nash is like married and has a child and all that stuff, so it's like made him look bad, and then he blocked me.
Yeah.
But what the worst thing about it was he was already following me. Like he already supported the page and was following it. I was like, the page is dope.
Why did you do it though? Like I feel like you just kind of like said, "F it."
I was 22, 23 years old. I was in my attitude era. All these people that blocked me when I was unprofessional and nobody knew who I was or what I looked like. And I had never thought of the page as anything besides this wrestling page I made for fun. So like that's the thing I kind of explained to CJ too. I'm like, I was 22 when I started my page, and I was just like messing around because I told the story about the ex-girlfriend. I made this page, yada yada, and I was like, yeah, but I'm like, since then I've befriended a ton of your colleagues. I'm like, I've worked with like Hogan and Brett on like stuff for their accounts. I've helped like the media teams for Undertaker and Ric Flair's social media accounts like launch that and have content. Like I've done a lot of stuff since then, and like I've always wanted to like. I thought we'd cross paths eventually. I'm like, I've even met your husband and his manager Farbod. I'm like, I thought we'd cross paths eventually and I could apologize. It just never happened. And I'm like, I guess we gotta write off like 2 years I was stuck in Canada because of the pandemic, but like we've just never really crossed paths. So I'm like, and then I just randomly brought up to Jen one day because I was drunk, and I guess she eventually brought it up to you. So
It's cool. It's
here
cool.
we are.
What comes full circle, you know what I mean? So it was inevitable.
And the thing is, like, if she, the one that I find very interesting from a different perspective is like, if she hadn't has blocked me and had to unblock me, I don't think we would have talked as much as we did yesterday. It's like there's a story there, and like just like I had no idea. I tried searching up, and it said you didn't exist, and Jen like had to take my phone and figure out how to unblock you, and I'm like, that's actually really funny. And I'm a lot older now, and I'm a lot more mature. I'm a different person than I was even like 2-3 years ago. The same person at heart, but like you grow and you change, and I just feel like this Justin's good with the people, the professionally rather than the Justin 5-6 years ago.
No.
So
No, I feel like sometimes people don't understand that, like, you're gonna have opinions at one age, and then as you grow older, those opinions can change, and those opinions don't stay with you forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can think of something from when I was like 15 years old, 20 years old, and then when I'm 30 years old, my perspective on life is totally gonna change because I'm gonna age, I'm gonna grow wiser, I'm gonna have my own set of values and things like that.
some things definitely do stay the same, but things do change. We talked about this in the casual conversation that you co-hosted with me with Jimmy Jacobs, where I was like,
Yeah.
the shitty thing about podcasts and even doing this right now, and like because of society today and cancel culture, and it's like when you say you dislike cancel culture, people think you're saying you don't like it, you're supporting sexual assault. It's not that. Like, it's not that like we're condoning bad things that bad people have done or condoning really huge mistakes that people have made. Everybody should pay for their mistakes and be held responsible and accountable for their actions. But that being said, to fully cancel someone and be like, we're gonna wipe them off the face of the earth for something they said like 6 years ago, or it's different when it's an actual assault or blatant racism or something like that. But when it's something that's said or an opinion that someone had, and you hold them to that thing they said or opinion they had maybe 5-6 years ago, it sucks. For an example, I think a really a public known example would be like the Kevin Hart thing where he said, I want to let my kid play with Barbies, that's gay or whatever, right? He tweeted that out and that got him taken off the Oscars like 10 years later, right? That doesn't mean that Kevin Hart within those like 10 years or whatever didn't grow and change his opinion and his perspective on that whole matter as the world changed. I've said it a million times. There's a bunch of stuff that we said when we were teenagers that we would never say again. Not because it's like, oh my God, you can't say it, because we learned why it's offensive and why you shouldn't say it and how it affects people and how offensive it really could be to certain groups of people. And we were just saying it in a way to our own friends as like, whatever, but like we realized how dumb that was, and we've grown from that. And like that, me at 16 and me at 30 will be saying different things. And like we said with the Jimmy Jacobs podcast, like, you could do a podcast. I could have done a podcast in 2000. I've been running this page since 2014. So like I could have said something in like 2015 on someone else's show. And it's like I could go back and listen to it and I might even cringe and be like, why did I think that? Or my perspective had changed. And I'm like, maybe back then I was talking about how I'm like an atheist and not religious at all or something. And now you talk to me and I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm not religious, and I also wouldn't say I'm an atheist because it's not like I don't believe in anything. I think I'm really spiritual. That's what I've discovered about myself now. So it's like you change and you grow, and it sucks when people are held accountable for things they said before, because people do grow and they do change. And I do believe no one ever fully 100% changes. Like we're all ourselves a little bit. Like if someone that met me 5 years ago met me today, they'll be like, oh, Justin's still Justin, but there's a lot that's different about me. But I'm at the core, I'm still me. I'm still making stupid jokes, doing the stupid shit I do, being Justin. But at the same time, like there's a lot of things that are different about me too. I think when someone says grow, it doesn't necessarily mean change. It just means growing on top of who you already are. There's still that old parts of you in you and who you've been, but you just grow from it. And I think experiences and people you surround yourself with. And I'm a big person of like, I don't like I like meeting new people and creating new friends and having new relationships and talking to strangers. I've never been one of those guys that's been able to talk to I talk to people I've known my entire life. I'm friends with people I've known my entire life, but I like to meet new people too. Does that make sense? I think people that just talk to the same people all the time, like it's stifling yourself from growth and not having the interactions you need to be, a little bit more understanding about the world. I hate to be closed off fully like that, but that all being said, whatever I did to Lana in 2015-14, I would never do today. So that's why I'm okay talking about it when we do talk about it, because yes, it was really dumb, and hopefully younger people that are starting wrestling pages or whatever will know not to do it either. Because look at I don't want to go into details, but look at the relationship I have with so many of the women's wrestlers today, from Charlotte to Carmella to Natty to Zelina, they all rock with me. There's a reason why, because I post them and I'm very respectful about it, and they get the shtick, you know what I mean? So it was a different time back then. But yeah, just for anyone listening to this, and I'm okay talking about this because there really isn't much to talk about wrestling wise that I actually care about besides everybody's effing injured and Carmella's back in here. But yeah, I'm a big believer that you can't take people's words from the past and hold them up as gospel.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy how some things can be said and taken out of context too. Because I mean, Booker T said something, and then Twitter being Twitter, they mixed up his words and they made it seem like he was saying something else, and there's a whole drama about it. But it goes into saying that
we both do interviews. How many times have we done interviews, or you listen to interviews? I'm trying to remember the ones. Bryan Danielson, when we interviewed Bryan Danielson, okay? So when we interviewed Bryan Danielson, and he was just being exaggerated. Because Bryan's a very exaggerated, he's a chill, calm dude, laid back, down to earth, simple life type of guy. But he's a little over exaggerated with the way he says things sometimes. It's just his personality.
Of course. Yeah.
And remember when he said something it was just an over exaggeration?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I felt like I was gonna die or something at WrestleMania.
No, it was he was talking about he didn't feel like he fit in the main event of WrestleMania 37, and how he felt like he was dying, or he felt like he was in he felt like he was dead or something. I don't know. He said something like that.
Something about death. And it wasn't like he actually felt that way. It was an exaggeration. Because he was so comfortable talking to us. He just exaggerated that part. Dude, I feel like sometimes when I'm sick, I'll message to you or my friends or in the groups or whatever. I'm like, oh man, I feel like death. I don't actually feel like death. It's an exaggeration. I just feel really sick. Yeah. And he just might have had felt really anxious or weird and I felt like I was dying. It's just an over exaggeration. And then he went on the internet, all the headlines Bryan Danielson says he felt like he was dying at WrestleMania. And that's how quickly words can be mixed up. And 5-10 years from now, someone's going to search up Bryan Danielson dying, and that's going to come up, and that's not even what he said. It was so out of context.
That's crazy, man. I feel like that's the part about wrestling that just turns me off and away from it completely, because it makes me just go man, I don't want to use social media anymore, but it's I kind of need it to keep up with wrestling. But it's crazy how some things can be set out of context and completely turned around, and you may never know, dude. It's wild.
Let's talk about let's do a cool little new segment right now. You said something there. Well, this is gonna be a cool little segment of the week, because I know how you've been feeling for the last couple of weeks, but let the people know. We're gonna do this segment, guys, and it's called "What Turns Daniel Off from Wrestling."
Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you this, guys. Daniel's been turned off from wrestling. And as much as I've been sitting here being everybody's injured, it's been pretty meh. Everything's been kind of because it has been. That's how I truly feel. But I watch it because I watch.
Speaking of getting injured, Kyle O'Reilly got injured recently.
Did he?
Yeah,
is he hurt too now?
He's hurt.
So who's hurt? We got obviously off the top of my head, Punk, Orton, Bryan,
Rhea Ripley recently.
Ripley, which is why Carmella's in there again. Kyle O'Reilly, I think Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish, yeah, they're out. Both of them. So Red Dragon's out, which sucks. Bryan,
MJF's not injured, but he's written off for now.
Jeff Hardy, yes, he's not injured, but the whole DUI stuff.
Jeff Hardy has been a walking injury. We talked about that a lot last week.
Who else, man? I know there's other people. I just can't remember. This
I
sucks.
think Edge, unless he was just written off. I don't know what
CM
Edge's
Punk?
deal is.
Do we say Punk?
Punk. I said Punk and Orton first because those are my guys.
Okay.
And Brian.
There's more. I feel like there's more, and I don't know. Anyways, but yeah.
And then Roman's trying to take time off, and
he's not on SmackDown
tomorrow. But what's turning you off about wrestling? What has been really like? What has been really grinding your gears? Because soon it's going to be what's been grinding Justin's gears, because Cena's about to be back, and I'll be telling you guys my displeasures and air my grievances on this show. But this week, let Daniel air his grievances.
So it's like I don't hate wrestling, man. Like that's something I've watched since I was like as young as I can remember. That's
I know that. But like, as of right now in the past like month, what about the shows have you just been kind of like turned off about? Like you're not feeling, because you've been very vocal about just not feeling not like we can watch old school wrestling tonight and you'll enjoy yourself.
100%. That's what I've been watching.
That's me. That's my entire life. I can always throw on something from the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and I'm gonna enjoy it regardless of the fact. It's not that. Just right now, because I can agree with you that most of this shit's been trash, to be completely blatant and honest. But what is it for you? Because I can go on, and I feel like people have heard my gripes over and over again. I don't feel like the storylines are great. I don't think character development's great. A lot of my favorites are missing out of action, and there's too much wrestling. Those are my gripes all the time. And what are yours?
So things I don't enjoy in wrestling right now is like, I guess you can say the fact that like, some of my favorites are missing too, and it makes me kind of like not want to watch, like Brian, Punk. Those guys aren't there. Randy's not there. You know what I mean? Also, like something about AEW right now, and I guess a little about WWE isn't really connecting with me on a personal level, because I'm just gonna say it, like I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling like that. I know who Okada, Tanahashi, all these guys are. Like I've seen posts on Instagram, Twitter, like obviously keep up with the wrestling bubble and everything, but like I don't know who they really are, and I don't know why, but I just feel like I don't want to watch the Forbidden Door pay-per-view because I guess my favorite isn't on, but also kind of like there's nothing that's compelling, you know what I mean? Except Christian Cage's promo, which I really liked, and I love.
Nothing to do with Forbidden Door. It has nothing to do with Forbidden Door.
There we go, and it's not like I don't know what it is, but even it's just one of those weird things.
I think the Forbidden Door, like I'm gonna read the card, and I'm gonna make quick predictions right now. Actually, that you reminded me, because it is the Sunday. But to your point, that all being said, I do strongly agree with you that I think this New Japan collaboration that they're doing right now has been a flop, in my humble opinion.
It's not their fault, though, dude. It's really not, because let me tell you,
a lot of the people that you wanted to see wrestle
are injured.
And honestly, to me, that's really just I really want to see CM Punk and Brian wrestle New Japan.
Wanted to see CM Punk.
When Brian left the WWE, one of the things that was a major factor for him, and we heard it before he even left WWE, that even WWE was trying to negotiate with New Japan because Brian really wanted to wrestle some wrestlers from New Japan. Punk, since he left in 2014, has been saying, well, if I ever came back to wrestling, I don't know if I'd wrestle in the States, but I'd love to go wrestle in New Japan. So two guys that killed it on the independents. Obviously, Brian had some matches with Kenta and stuff and whatnot. I don't think Punk really wrestled many wrestlers from New Japan before he got signed to the WWE.
I don't think so.
Wanted to wrestle New Japan wrestlers. And dude, the two matches that got written off that would have happened, Punk and Tanahashi, and Brian versus Zack Sabre Jr., that alone, those two matches alone would have had me hyped for this event. But the fact that they're not happening anymore kind of sucks. And I get putting Moxley in that position, but we've seen Moxley in New Japan has just as recent as 2020 and 2019. Like that's not new. I look at the card now. At first I said this card sucked. I look at it now. It's actually not that bad of a card. They've managed to make it somewhat intriguing to me. But I think they overvalued. That's probably not the right word, guys, but they overestimated. That's probably the best word, the fans' knowledge of New Japan, because I think they felt like because they catered that hardcore fan base, everyone was gonna know everybody, and they just fucking don't. And I gave this example last week. I was pretty sure I was at my buddy's house and Tanahashi came out, and my buddy watches AEW every single week. Like he's an AEW fan. We watch the AEW pay-per-views at his house, and they watch 2 or 3 of them. So he likes AEW. But even he was like, I don't know who this guy is.
No, it's crazy.
What does that tell you?
Right. It's crazy because it's like with Punk and Brian being gone, it feels like as if you were gonna talk about the Beatles, but without Paul McCartney and like John Lennon. Like it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like
I fell in
those
love
two
with the
guys.
Beatles over the past week.
Yeah, that happened too. But but I have to make a reference on the show, of course. But it just feels like it's not connecting well. And then
No, it's, to your point, it's like having a Beatles concert with just Ringo
right.
and George. No disrespect to Ringo and George, they're fucking
They're
dope. You
great.
couldn't have the Beatles. You couldn't have the Beatles without Ringo. Hell, it's like doing a Beatles concert without Ringo and George and just Paul and John. You need all four of them to have a proper Beatles concert. That's what makes the band.
100%.
So I feel you. So basically, I'm gonna go down the card really quickly. Jack Sabre Jr. is facing a unannounced wrestler that's going to be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club, and is Bryan Danielson's choice. Obviously, the biggest rumor in the world is that it's going to be Cesaro.
It's not. It's gonna be Josh Gresham. I hope I'm saying his name.
Gresham.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be him.
I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm always down for a surprise. That being said,
Josh Gresham.
That being said, they need to stop signing people, men specifically. They need to stop signing men. So, where's Samoa Joe? What is Jay Lethal doing? Lance Archer's on
Samoa Joe? I feel like I haven't seen him since the Owen Hart finals.
Stop signing men. I can't watch Rampage. It doesn't count for me. The Bullet Club, El Phantasmo, Hikuleo, and the Young Bucks versus Sting, Darby, and Shingo Tagaji, and Hiromu Takahashi. I know who all these people are, even though I can't pronounce the names, by the way. LP is my fucking boy. And obviously I'm cool with Matt. And I love Sting and Darby. I'm going to go with the baby faces here, who are calling themselves the dudes with attitude. Sting guys.
Yeah, I'm
super hyped for El Phantasmo. The fact that El Phantasmo, I know his journey because he wrestled in Vancouver for a very long time. Then he wrestled in England and then Japan. And now he gets to wrestle in the States, and he's going to wrestle Sting. And I just think that's
I'm excited for that match.
I'm so happy for him to be able to be in the ring with Sting. I hope he gets like at least one little back and forth with Sting in the ring because LP is the man. He's a friend of mine. And it's just, I messaged him and I was like, yo, you get to wrestle Sting. That's fucking dope. And then he said, see you tomorrow because there's a show here tomorrow that he's on. I don't know if I'm going, but still, like, that's fucking dope. Shout out El Phantasmo. Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. I think it's way too early for Thunder Rosa to lose the belt. So I'm going to say she retains. Mm-hmm. But honestly, the way they've been booking her, it wouldn't surprise me if Toni won the belt.
Switch it up a little bit. No, I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa too.
This one I'm a little excited for. We'll see what happens. But obviously my predictions will be super obvious when I name the list. It's a 3-way winner takes all match. So the Ring of Honor titles online and the IWGP titles online. It's Roppongi Vice, which is Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, versus the United Empire, which is Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, versus FTR. The United Empire are the current IWGP Tag Team Champions. I actually really do like Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb's one of those guys I was so shocked that AEW didn't sign really early on. He made an appearance there to help Jericho guys out, but they never signed him. He was strongly with New Japan and Ring of Honor at the time. I believe it was Ring of Honor. So I understand why he didn't. But I'm a Jeff Cobb fan, so I do like Jeff Cobb. I've seen him live a bunch of times. He's wrestled Hill locally a few times. I'm not like the biggest Best Friends fan, but I've always liked Trent. I think he's been always the standout of the Best Friends. And Roppongi Vice in New Japan has always been a solid tag team. And FTR are my boys. Those are my fucking boys. Those are my guys. Top guys. So obviously I'm going to have to go with the top guys. Because then you have FTR.
Sorry, what?
Who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with Best Friends. Orange Cassidy just came back.
But he's not in it. It's Roppongi Vice. It's a New Japan team.
I'm going to still go with Best Friends.
Because my thing is FTR holds the Ring of Honor titles, the IWGP tag titles, and then they go after the Young Bucks for the rubber match because it's 1-1 between those two teams.
That's going to happen.
FTR holds all three belts. Tony Khan's booking like I would book, like a Mark.
I mean, we can all dream of good things, but it's not going to happen.
Speaking of Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship.
Yo, I just want Orange Cassidy to win. Imagine how fucking funny that would be.
Yo, that would be fucking hilarious. Like, hysterical. So obviously, I don't think Will Ospreay is gonna lose. If I had to
He's
bet
not gonna
money
lose.
on it, Will Ospreay is winning. But I would love Orange Cassidy to win too, just because it'd be a smack in the face to like everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, you
And
know what?
wrestling's
F
been
it.
bad. I think everything-
I'm gonna go with my boy Orange Cassidy. Screw it. It's
It'll be a fun match for sure.
gonna be good.
Le Sex Gods, which is Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara with Minoru Suzuki, and obviously the beautiful Tay Conti in the corner, against Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino, who is none other than Shooter, better known as John Moxley's side guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Shooter. He was a young lion that faced John Moxley in a match for the United States Championship in Japan and lost, but then John Moxley took him under his wing. And if you've never seen him, go on YouTube and YouTube promos between John Moxley and Shooter, because after every post-match promo, John Moxley brings Shooter with him, and he just say dumb things like to him, like Shooter's gonna kill you and stuff. Like, just I don't know, it's funny. I can't do them justice. Go on YouTube and find them. They're fucking hilarious. But I think with this, I'm gonna have to go with Jericho, guys. I think.
I'm gonna go with the Lex Sex Gods too. I mean,
No disrespect to Kingston, Yuta, and Shooter, but Sammy, Jericho, and Suzuki just comes off as a stronger team. And since Kingston got the win over Jericho in a singles match, maybe I don't know.
I think this is the first pay-per-view with Sammy being involved with the Jericho Appreciation Society, so they got away.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. He reunited with Jericho because he never really remember when the inner circle broke up. He just put his jacket down and said, "Figure it out." He never really necessarily broke up with anybody, so it wasn't too surprising to see him realigned with Jericho. For the inaugural AEW All Atlantic Championship, pretty much their European title or television title, whatever you want to call it, Pac versus Miro versus Malachi Black. It was supposed to be Tomohiro Ishii, but he's injured as of reported today. So Clark Connors is taking his place because that's who Ishii beat in the tournament. In a fatal four-way. I didn't realize it's going to end in a fatal four-way. I thought it was going to end with like two more semi-final matches and a single match, but this is a stacked, no disrespect to Clark Connors. I'm down with any other of the three winning this belt. Whether it's Malachi, Miro, or Pac, like I'm down with any single one of them winning.
This one's gonna be good. I feel like this one's gonna be really good. Could be the stealer of the night already or match of the night.
Yeah, and this was one of the matches on the card where I was actually like, okay, this card's not as bad because of this match. So I was like, I would want to watch this match.
Who you got though?
These are all three guys, Malachi, Miro, and Pac, that I feel like should have had world title shots, should have had shots at the TNT title. So I know a lot of people are upset with them introducing another title, but I think you need a title like this. And, our boy, a wrestling historian, called it a participation title, and I understand that. I get where he's coming from. Larry's a very interesting cat. He doesn't like MJF either, but I think you need this because in the glory days of WCW, yes, you had the United States title, but guys like Booker T and Benoit and so many talents got like a solid opportunity to have a championship run with the belt because they had the television title. It wasn't the world title, it wasn't the United States title, but they had that television title, and that allowed a lot of guys to. Arn Anderson carried that title for years. He's one of the greatest television champions of all time. I think they could treat this belt like that. Same thing with the WWE. When there was a point where they had a lot of strong talent, there was the WWE Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, and then there's the European title. It's just another opportunity for people to have a strap to run with. So I'm with it. Once again, Pac, Miro, or Malachi. Either or, I'm game.
I want Pac to win this, dude. Needs it.
Coming in, another four-way match. This is booked. Everyone was like, Jay White's not going to defend against Hangman and Adam Cole. He said he wasn't going to. That means he's not going to. And I said, no, it's wrestling. One week he says he's not going to, then someone's going to make him. That's how wrestling works, you idiots. Now in a fatal four-way for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, it's Jay White defending against Hangman Adam Page, like I said, Adam Cole, like I said, and then also Kazuchika Okada, who made his
It's a
first ever
fatal
appearance.
four-way. I swear there was a tag match. Was it not?
No, I think I asked you guys in one of the group chats, do you think it's going to end up being a tag match?
I saw like a
then the
graphic on Twitter. I thought because I didn't watch Dynamite this week, right? So I was like, oh shit, that's cool.
No, it's a fatal four-way.
That's cool, man.
Which is it'll be good. Another fatal four-way that intrigues me. Like I said, this card sucked, say, a week ago. Whatever they booked this last week right now, they're working out all right. It's not too bad. Still miss Punk, still miss Brian, but I'm not against it. And then finally for the AEW Interim Championship, Jon Moxley. Oh wait, do you think who's going to win the last one? I think Jay White's going to retain, to be honest.
I want to say Okada. And then I don't know. Omega comes out to have a cool little stare down callback. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Mox versus Tanahashi for the Interim Championship. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I feel like you just put the belt. Since it's an interim champion, like it's only until Punk comes back and then they're going to have a match. Just put the belt on Tanahashi.
No.
So then we'll still get Punk versus Tanahashi when Punk's back.
I mean,
otherwise we have to get Moxley versus Punk, which is sick too. But
that's cool.
I want Punk versus the Japanese man.
I mean, I think that's more of like the wrestling aspect. I'm gonna go for the storyline aspect. I'm gonna go for Moxley and Punk. I feel like that has more story in there. There's a lot more, meat in that freaking steak, and it's one juicy steak. It's all sizzle and it's all good and juicy. So I'm gonna go with that one. Oh yeah, I don't know what the hell I just said. I just made things up.
Remember that line that all sizzle, no something.
Yeah. JR, shout out to you.
Jim Ross, baby.
Yeah,
that's what I think about that.
I think it's a decent card. Actually, when you go down the card, it's pretty solid.
I'm telling you, I thought it was trash, and then they went over it yesterday, and I was like, okay, it's not horrible. Like it's not worthwhile. But it would definitely have been better with Punk and Brian.
Those two fatal four-way matches really helped.
Really helped, right?
Really helped the card.
Even the FTR triple threat match, I'm like, okay, I can rock with that too. Because let's be honest, with the last couple of pay-per-views, they kept FTR off the pay-per-views.
I don't know why though.
I know, very weird. But that's AEW. And then the last thing that I think was even worth talking about with AEW was the Christian promo, which was just the best thing Christian's done in AEW. The best thing Christian, and that's over him winning the Impact Championship and all that. Like, dude, this is the best Christian's done.
I've been saying it for so long. Christian Cage is so underappreciated. Like, no one gives this man his flowers. Like, I don't know why, but like there's a certain presence to Christian Cage. Like,
and maybe like the fact that Punk and Brian are injured, that they needed Christian to step up, and he did. Because on that note, you mentioned someone else's name. Omega's been injured for months now too. Like, there's a lot of injuries.
No, it's cool, man. And also, like, I'm glad they're pushing this, man. Because it's like I've been saying. I think I even told you. I'm like, man, I can't wait until Christian does something freaking dope again. And then because I know he's really good. And I'm glad, he turned heel. It comes out with like that black freaking turtleneck and just looking like a heel. And
dude, the promos out. I don't know if you watched it yet, Daniel, but go watch.
I watched it on Instagram. He said, "Dad, I'm not even trying to be your dad. You already have a dad, and he's dead.
And he's dead. And he's probably you're glad he's dead because he'd probably be ashamed of you."
Yeah, he said that. Not even that. He brought up Marco Stunt. I'm like, that's so mean.
He's just taking all the shots, and I love it. I love this Christian. I love that he's gonna be matter now. I love how he came in saying I'm gonna outwork everyone, but now he's a heel, so he's like, I just came in to collect a paycheck. I don't want to do anything. I thought I could just stand in the corner and collect my paycheck. I'm like, yo, this guy's funny.
Not even that, but I feel like this was super needed for Christian because like I was gonna say WWE, but AEW needed someone to step up and be a top heel because MJF isn't on TV anymore, so we don't, that's gone. But having Christian Cage as a top heel in AEW right now could really benefit, Jungle Boy and all these other guys and, all these other brave faces coming up. And I'm excited to see where this feud goes, but it's super.
And not even that, that's like just there's a story now. There's a lack of stories in AEW. No matter who thinks they're telling stories, really, like if you ask me what storylines are going on, this is the only one I can think of right now, off the top of my
And
head.
I don't know if you remember, but like it was last year at Double or Nothing where they had a casino battle royal and Jungle Boy actually eliminated Christian Cage to get
He brought it up.
He brought it up. See, bro,
Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing something with my boy. Let's go. This is great.
You
This
gotta
is
watch
why,
the full promo. You might have just seen clips. We'll watch the full promo after this. It was like,
yeah.
and I'm only listen. I'm a promo guy. I know you're a promo guy. Like this was, I was watching AEW. I was on the side, like whatever, and then I was glued. Like I was like, oh, this guy's talking his shit. I was like,
Oh, he's good.
I'm here for this, you know.
Canadians always do great on the mic, man.
Quick
Always.
shout out,
Brad, Edge, Jericho. Give us Canadians love. Come on, AEW. Come to Canada.
Quick shout out
Promise
to
you.
Daniel. Quick shout out to Danielle Monet, aka Summer Rae. She made Maxim's top 100 for 2022. Only 100 women on that list, and she was on there with the likes of everybody, man. Megan Fox, Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez, Doja Cat, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Dua Lipa. Name a baddie on that list. Models and stuff too, Victoria's Secret model stuff, and Danielle made it, which is cool for like to have someone from the wrestling world on that list, even though like she still reps the wrestling world. She moves on events and she's a good person. She's a friend. She's fucking dope. So I'm happy for her. Shout out to her. Speaking about friends, I'm happy for her. My girl Carmella came back.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, okay, whatever. And then she won the match. And I was like, I think she's gonna win. And the only reason I thought she was gonna win was they kept her off TV for so many weeks, so they had nothing creative for her. And then the moment
the shitty part is we know she's not gonna win. And it's like,
that's the thing.
You know,
she's not gonna win. But the thing is, like, it just furthers my point that I made months ago, and I've been making actually for years, to be fucking honest, is that you can say or whatever you want about Carmella as an in-ring wrestler, or she's there because she's hot and yada. She's reliable as fuck, and she's versatile. Anything they make her do, she rocks. They want, I know, 100. No, honestly, like 110%, and not even in the negative way. Because like, it's not like she hasn't achieved any success. She was the first ever Money in the Bank winner. She won the women's championship, cashing in on Charlotte, and actually held her for like 5 to 6 months or something. She's won the women's battle royal at WrestleMania. She's won the 24/7. Like she's a former women's tag team champion. So it's not like a situation where it's like Liv and she hasn't won anything. No disrespect to Liv, like she's technically hasn't won anything. And I am rooting for Liv to win this year's Money in the Bank. But that being said, Carmella is someone that has reached levels of success, but is also super reliable and versatile. You want her to be a serious contender in the women's division, she can do that. She had that feud with Sasha when she came back in 2020 and she rocked it. She's been the champion. You want her to be like comedy, running around with R-Truth wearing costumes and all that fun stuff, she'll fucking rock it. You want her to be a part of it. Like she fits in wherever, and I just want to show her the respect and love that she deserves. Not because like I think she's smoking and she's been nothing but nice to me and treats me like a friend, but because like it's true. We know she's gonna lose, right? I don't think anyone thinks that she's gonna beat Bianca at Money in the Bank, but it's like at least we'll get a decent match out of it. And she filled that role. Was there other women in that match that could have been in that role? For sure. I didn't want to see Liv in there. I didn't want to see Becky again, and I didn't want to see Asuka again. So the only other person I was kind of like, well, if Alexa wins, that'll be something fresh and new too. Like that was the only other person. It was between Alexa and Carmella for me. So I'm happy it was Carmella.
But I think from the story aspect, it's cool too because at SummerSlam last year, we had like we were supposed to have Carmella versus Bianca, and then Becky comes back and beats Bianca.
And they have history. Like they've worked together. There was a point where Bianca was a SmackDown Women's Champion, and she was just beating Zelina and Carmella, and they had the Rolling Loud match and stuff. Like they've worked with each other. And I just think, it's unfortunate that Rhea got hurt because that was super fresh to have Rhea versus Bianca. That was something totally new. It's a bummer she got hurt, but I'm down with Mella being there, and it'll be just. And that's the one thing too. Like Mella's always been a good character since the day of NXT. Like she came in as a good character. She was paired with Enzo and Cass. She was like their Italian New Jersey like stylist, like whatever, and like she rocked that role. And I don't know, she's always played her character as well, but my point is she's also improved so much in the ring throughout the years. And in big matches, she's actually like she pulls out stuff. Like watch the triple threat with her, Charlotte and Becky. Watch her versus Bayley on SmackDown. Watch her matches with Sasha when it's necessary. She pulls out, dude, and she rocks it. So I think we'll probably get it. It's not going to be Becky Bianca from WrestleMania or anything, but it'll be a good match, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it's not a quick match. Hopefully, they don't like a squash or something. There is the potential they could do that too. I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm hoping she gets a solid match.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a Carmella fan. I rock with Carmella. I thought it was also super fucking creative what they did with the Elias Ezekiel.
Oh.
If there's one thing that's been entertaining on Raw, but also been fucking kind of stupid, it's that. Because it has been stupid and there's been weeks. The only thing that I dislike about it, there's one thing I dislike about it, but you also couldn't do with anyone else besides maybe Sami Zayn, is I kind of wish Kevin Owens is out of this by now. That's the only thing. I'm over Kevin Owens being involved with this because I want bigger things for Kevin Owens. So that's why some weeks I'll come on this show and say this shit sucks, because it's not that creatively it sucks. It's just I want better things for Kevin Owens. That being said, the shit was funny this week, and the way they had a lot Ezekiel have a fake beard on and do an old Elias concert, and Ezekiel shows up on the screen, and then the way they worked the TV magic of Elias beating up Kevin Owens, and then they had him thrown in the back and stage area next to Ezekiel shows up, like just money. They're fucking with everybody, and it's like for anyone that says that the creative team can't be creative, like then they do shit like this, and like so they can be creative when they're allowed to. Like I think they have great ideas, and this is clearly one of them. Because I'll be honest, going into Raw, the only thing I was looking forward to was like, I wonder how they're gonna pull off this Ezekiel Elias thing. Like, how are they gonna pull this off? Like, that's all I kept thinking. They pulled it off. Was there anything else that happened in wrestling? I don't think so. Riddle lost. Brock's back.
Oh.
Do you see how much I don't care about it? Like, I'm happy Brock is back. It's not that. But man, I'm sick of Brock and Roman.
I don't know. I think whoever wins the Money in the Bank, I feel like someone's gonna cash in, obviously, during the match.
Well, the best theory and scenario everyone's been giving is Seth wins and cashes in, and
I don't think that's happening anymore, because I think Riddle's gonna cost Seth the match, and then they're gonna set up their rivalry, and it's just I don't know. I'm just
what would have been sick is if Brock came back, but instead of targeting Roman, you were targeting Riddle. I don't know why. I just wanted something different,
Yeah.
It's just I get it. It was supposed to be Orton. Orton's hurt. Okay, call back Brock. I get it. It just
I mean, we had Bobby Lashley just chilling. He could have faced
Roman. He does have both belts. He could face anyone from any brand.
No, Lashley was getting pretty hot. He is getting hot.
He is. He's been hot.
He's been hot, right? So
yeah, that's what she said.
And of course, your boy followed you on Twitter this week. I saw that.
Fuck that guy. Okay, coming back and shit.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I don't care. I'm hyped as fuck. It's different. I'm hyped because
He better come back different.
I think he will. I think we're gonna hear Word Life. He's been teasing it.
Yo, Thugonomics Cena against Austin Theory. I'm with it.
Bro, that shit would slap. Man, you're getting me hyped for no reason, and then I tune into Raw. And then
but there's also the fact that he's a lot older now. Would it come off as corny because he's older?
Not even that. I don't want him to leave.
Would it be like DX 2000? Would it be like DX 2006? Like, yes, it was funny, but like they had to be like adult acting, like we had to understand they were like adults acting as college sophomores now again,
Yeah. I mean,
because that's what DX 2006 was. They were full. Because for some reason, even like the original DX, they were like, at least Shawn was already in his early 30s. But then, to be honest, I'm in my early 30s, and I still feel like a kid. So I think in that age you do, but like then they were like in their fucking 40s doing DX, and then you're like, oh, these guys are like they're adults being like reckless, and they were picking fun at that themselves. Like, you have to pick fun of it yourself,
Mm-hmm. No,
so if Johnson's gonna come back with Thugonomics, he has to pick fun of himself a little bit,
Yeah. I just don't want to hear the same old, you can't see me. I don't know.
But colorful T-shirt, same bullshit.
I think it's coming in black.
The champ is here.
I think in the black.
I hope he just like. What if we just got John Cena as like John motherfucking Cena? And I don't know how to explain that. Like, no colorful T-shirts, no over exaggerated promos. Like, no, I'm fucking John Cena. Like,
Just a suit.
it doesn't matter if I'm not. I'm man. Yeah, let's get Hollywood Cena. We had Hollywood Rock. Let's get
That'll be
Hollywood
money.
Cena. Let him come out in a limousine and shit. Who is this guy? No, this is John Cena, the superstar.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
And then dissing Austin Theory, like, oh, you're supposed to be the future. You're the guy they think looks like me, and you're gonna have my spot.
I'd be pretty dope. I'm not gonna
think
lie.
so.
I like that idea.
You have the Ruth progression. Even Batista came back, and Batista didn't come back doing, Patake, like he was boomer. Like he came back with Hollywood Batista. Like, let's give him a little spin. It doesn't necessarily have to be a heel, but now he's an adult. He's not wearing colorful clothes and jean shorts. You know what I mean? Or maybe he can still wear the jean shorts to wrestle. I don't fucking know. But like, what else is he really gonna wrestle in? I can't even imagine it. But like,
Trunks. Let's bring back Voltage
just have
Cena.
him. I get why he comes back the way he comes back, because it sells and pushes fucking merch. New shirt, new wristbands, new hat, new. You know what I mean? I get it. But for this, like, yo, even Roman, when he came back after he left because of the COVID and shit, like, got rid of the Shield gear, got a new theme song, started wrestling without a shirt. And it's just a little bit of change, and that's always been my beef with Cena. It's not that he's bad. It's just, it really has just been the same shit. Literally, and everyone's like, no, he changed this. No, it's literally been the same shit since 2006. Just the shirts got more colorful. And he got a little bit better at wrestling, to be honest. Like, that's been the same shit. And people be like, well, Orton hasn't been the same shit the whole time. They got Orton in 2005, and Orton in 2011, and Orton now. Like, it's, yes, a lot of it is the same, but it's different, you know? Cena's literally been the same shit.
No, it's crazy.
I'd be down with Hollywood Cena.
I'd be dope. I like the idea of that. I really do.
His fans are adults now, you know? Well, the fans that were with him as a kid are adults now. Like, cater those people, you know?
Yeah, that's smart. That's actually a good idea. Holy
Vince jumping off the stairs. The meme of Vince jumping off the stairs. Money. That shit popped off.
Dude, Ric Flair. This thing's really happening, huh?
Woo! One last match, baby. Me and Will Sasso talked about it too. You guys didn't hear that on the casual conversation on Saturday. I told Will Sasso that he should, let us know if he makes a TikTok. And he said, I'm too old for TikTok. I'm like, bro, Ric Flair's wrestling. And then we had a whole conversation about it. Are you really too old for anything? Ric Flair's wrestling his last match. That's 73 years old.
It's crazy. It's wild.
I hope you guys really enjoyed that, Will Sasso. I enjoyed it. I really do enjoy interviewing people. I wish I could interview more people that are wrestling fans that aren't technically wrestlers or in the industry, because I feel like even when they do interviews, and I know Will Sasso in his own podcast talks about wrestling a lot, but like when they do interviews, they don't get to talk about that, And I think that's been some of the coolest stuff to do with Will Sasso and Joe Santagato and Daniel Poirier and Caroline Sved and Gary V, people that are big outside of wrestling, but they're wrestling fans, to let them showcase that side of them. I think it's a ton of fun for me, kind of being the conduit of that world and the wrestling world and trying to put together now. So hopefully you guys check that out. Someone's phone's ringing. How about that? Is there anything else to add, Daniel, before we wrap this up?
Nothing much, man. Yeah, not too, but go subscribe to the Drop Podcast on YouTube, all of that. Is that? I thought that was a J. I'm stupid. That's all, man. That's all I got.
Sushi
No, guys, I thought Chopstick was like a J. I was like, blazing on the show.
Shout out to CJ, though, man. Everyone go follow Lana. Go follow, check out cjperry.com. All that stuff. It's it is what it is. Go check her exclusive site. Get some of the steamy stuff. Go check out Jen Decker. Her website as well. I think it's jendecker.com or jennifersturger.com. I gotta check which one. But link is in her bio. And everyone keep doing the thing and keep rocking. And I don't know. Shout out to Carmella. Hopefully Forbidden Door is really good. And see what happens next. We'll see you all next time. I'm about to burp. Oh yeah, dig it. Ba-da-ba-bum-bum. Ba-da-ba-bum.